proceeds of crime. And you know that prevention of money laundering rests on the proceeds of crime and whether that has been generated and concealed. Also, the court went on to say that evidence with the Enforcement Directorate shows a link between the Hawala dealers involved in this and Aam Aadmi Party candidates who were fielded in Goa, because the ED's contention was much of this money was used as kickbacks and then used in the assembly elections in Goa. The court has also said that the ED was in possession of enough material which led Arvind Kejriwal's arrest. ED case also reveals that Kejriwal was involved both in his personal capacity as well as in his capacity as the convener of the Aam Aadmi Party. Also, the legal defense that was taken by Mr. Kejriwal's lawyers was to question these pardons and these approvers who have then gone on to make statements against the Delhi Chief Minister. That legal point has been thrashed out by the court, saying that doubting any kind of pardon that's been given to the approvers amounts to casting aspersions on the judicial process. The judge went on to say that the whole law on approvers is over 100 years old. Who gives tickets to whom or who purchases whose electoral bonds is not the remit of this court. It's not the concern of this current court. The court has to examine the arrest and the remand as per law, and that is not in any way, as far as the court is concerned at least, not linked to the timing of the elections, and that the agency cannot be directed to conduct an investigation as per the convenience of one individual. The court said that the court will not lay down different legal standards or legal categories for a common citizen on the one hand and a chief minister on the other. So after these damning indictments by the single judge bench of the Delhi High Court, yes, the Aam Aadmi Party is saying they will approach the Supreme Court, but relief is not forthcoming for the Delhi Chief Minister. Should he finally read the writing on the wall and step down as Chief Minister of the national capital? Because if he doesn't, there is a good chance that there could be President's rule imposed in Delhi. Let me now open this up to our panelists here in our studios. Shehzad Poonawalla is national spokesperson of the BJP. Nistula Hebar is the political editor of The Hindu. Abhinandita Mathur is spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. And Kailash Vasdev is a senior advocate with the Supreme Court. Abhinandita, let me start with you first. I think it's pretty damning what the court has said, that doubting grant of pardon to approvers is casting aspersions on the judiciary. Who gives tickets or who purchases whose bonds is not the concern of this court. You're entitled to cross-examine approvers and inspect their documents at the proper stage of trial. This court will not have two sets of laws, one for the common citizen, the other for the chief minister. I mean, what face does the Aam Aadmi Party have today?
Zaka, genuinely, with due respect to our judiciary and this bench, I think this is a order that we expected, because the same judge, the same bench had, the same court had not rejected the bail for Mr. Sanjay Singh. A couple of clarifications. One, this was not a petition for seeking bail. The other point is that the PMLA law is as such that it is very difficult for an accused or for anybody who's been arrested to actually get bail or get any relief for that matter. Yes, the court did observe a couple of things. I'll respond to each one of them without getting into the technicalities of the law. But number one, when we have, when they say that there is sufficient evidence, now this is, again, we don't agree with the judgment, so we will go to Supreme Court. But at the same time, we must know this about the PMLA, that the one who is accused has no access to this evidence, so to speak, that they are saying, which is why the judge has also noted in the order that only when the trial reaches that stage. So until then, you basically have no relief. And that is why this PMLA Act in the legal fraternity is very openly
called. But Abhinandita, the court has also opined that Mr. Kejriwal was actively part of the conspiracy. And that he was actively part of the conspiracy, not just in his personal capacity, but also as convener of the Aam Aadmi Party. Like I said, where is your Kattar Imandar plank tonight?
Well, if we were not Qatar Imandar and we had joined the BJP, we would be in the esteemed company of all the other, Ajit Pawars and Hemanta Biswas and all these amazing
No, no,
leaders.
you could have said all of that up until today's order. Today it's a court that's perused the
I
order.
will stick to this. No, I didn't want to go into the political rhetoric. Technically speaking, like I'm saying that, these are all allegations. Please understand. Even what ED is saying is proof. Could only be just a statement.
Okay.
That is what is very interesting.
Shehzad Poonawalla, this is not a trial. You're a qualified lawyer. This is only at the stage of arrest. They challenged the arrest, which the court has now declined and said that the arrest was valid. But ultimately, whether he is guilty or not will have to be proven in a trial.
I will quote 6 statements. The reason I say I will quote 6 statements is because none of those statements belong to the BJP. 5 belong to the findings of the Honorable Court today, and 1 is something that you will realize later. Statement number 1. Fine, madam, I did not
One second, let him.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, let him finish. By the way, the court opined today also about Sharath Reddy, but let's leave that aside. Yeah.
First of all, this is not an opinion. This is part of the judgment which has been given by the court. Let's be clear, it's a finding of the court. Statement 1, material collected by ED, the court judges, reveals that Kejriwal conspired and was involved in the formulation of the policy and used the proceeds of crime. Second, the court makes a judgment that doubting grant of pardon to approvers amounts to casting aspersions on the judicial process. Third, who the ticket is given to or purchase of electoral bond is not the concern of the court. This is the judgment of the court. Fourth, there can't be 2 sets of laws, one for common man, one for the Chief Minister. Fifth, the ED is in possession of enough material which had led them to the arrest of Kejriwal. Not joining the investigation by Kejriwal, delayed by him, was impacting those in judicial custody. Sixth, the courts are not concerned with political morality, with constitutional morality. And 7, the court says as a judgment, the material includes statements of Hawala dealers and a member of AAP. It's not just about the approvers, whom by the way the court has vindicated in a sense. And the last statement is not my statement, this is a statement of...
Conflict of interest होता है कि एक आदमी पद पे रह के किसी भी इन्वेस्टिगेशन को इन्फ्लुएंस कर सकता है. वहाँ पे ये नेचुरल होता है कि सबसे पहले
None of these statements belong to the BJP. Zaka, today the BJP through me is not going to issue a single statement. I want the specific answer of the Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson on the 6 statements of the court's findings and the 7th statement of a moral standard set by Mr. Kejriwal. That's it. BJP says nothing on this.
Abhinandita, before I go to the other 2 panelists. No,
Right.
Abhinandita, the reason why this order is damaging for the Aam Aadmi Party is your party is avowedly something that was born out of an anti-corruption movement. Today, the court is basically saying, you're just like everybody else.
Zaka, one, the court did not say that in these words.
It said far worse things, but please go ahead.
No. But let me there's one thing that I must say. I have no reason to actually respond point by point to the BJP spokesperson. A party that is actually collecting all the corrupts, and this is critical.
No, but those are not his points. Those are points from the court's order.
They have become a corporation. They are not a political party. They are a company. They're like the East India Company that Ajao.
No, but those are not points that Shehzad Poonawalla made. Those are points that Justice Swarnkant made. She made those points in her order.
Okay, so I would also like to say in comparison, and this is for your audience to judge, the same court yesterday gave bail to a convicted leader and said that in view of the aforesaid discussion and the fact that the conviction at the present applicant is not suspended would lead to an irreversible consequence.
I don't know.
And the court then grants bail and says, let me finish.
You are imputing motives to the honorable judge. I am not party to this channel. I don't think the channel...
What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? No, what are you trying to say?
The chance to contest election, therefore, a bail is granted. Okay, irreversible consequences.
This is arrest being challenged.
Now, what does Shehzad Poonawalla ji have to say about all these amazing leaders that you have collected? Look, what is the legal matter?
No.
One, so it's anyway the draconian PML Act. Number 2, it's happening.
You've made those points. Look, I don't want to get into a situation where anybody is, imputing motives to a judge. But Mr. Ehbar, the political ramification of this. It was thought that Mr. Kejriwal being arrested on the eve of elections would rally the India alliance, there would be public sympathy for him. None of that has happened. And more damagingly, like I said, especially after today's court order, the BJP can turn around and say that we've been vindicated. We've been saying all this against Kejriwal. None of you all believed us because Kejriwal has this image of being, kattar imandar. But look at what the court is saying today.
I think at the bottom of it all, in terms of politics and governance, is the question as to what will happen to the Delhi government and who is to lead it. Because, politics is aimed at capturing of power and giving a particular government, according to your own ideology or the way that you want to organize society. So already you are seeing reports in the newspapers about there being a governance deficit, especially when the Chief Minister is behind bars and is insisting on running the government from behind bars. Whatever little space that he is given, he is trying to exercise that power. It shows two things. One is obduracy. The second thing that it shows is that there seems to be a lot of churn within the Aam Aadmi Party about who is to be placed in that position. If you recall history, like during the fodder scam, what Lalu Prasad Yadav ji did, or just before Hemant Soren was to be arrested, at least he made arrangements for his legislature party to meet, elect a leader. But even there was a lot of talk going on about who will take his place, possibly his wife, but there were some legal issues with regard that, because Jharkhand is largely a tribal state, and therefore there were some rules which could not
No, but wouldn't that also necessarily play straight into the BJP's political argument that these are all Parivarwadi parties?
Exactly, which is what I'm saying is that I have done a video for the Hindus YouTube channel. If viewers want to have a look at it, it will be great to get some views there. But it is, of course, the large mainstreaming of the Aam Aadmi Party. You have allegations of graft, you have people behind bars, you have the other parties rallying for you, standing on a munch together. So you're like everybody else, you're standing in solidarity with every other party. And the Chief Minister you attacked at that time, her son is coming out in support of you. Then you have the wife of the Chief Minister taking center stage in terms of political messaging that is coming out of the party. So obviously there is a kind of a mainstreaming that is happening.
But this is separate from the other allegation that the India Alliance parties are making against the BJP, and that is the misuse of the agencies. And you've seen multiple media reports, 121 leaders who've been investigated. Only 6 are from the BJP, the rest are opposition. That still stays?
With due respect to the allegations being made by the opposition parties, there are things to be said with regard to what their argument is. But why we are looking at Aam Aadmi Party specifically is that they came in as an outsider, saying that we are purer than divine snow. They made posters with serving ministers, etc., saying ye sab chor hain, and that there should be some sort of very strong, precipitate action being taken against them. They wanted a Lokpal bill, and there was, a lot of mobilization on the ground. So when you're not, you're coming in from the outside and trying to kind of disrupt the democratic process that was there in place, other kind of ways of kind of achieving your goals.
No, I agree with you.
If you're coming in from the outside saying that you are standing for certain things, then your behavior is expected to be a little different.
Absolutely, which is why I asked Abhinandan earlier that after today's order, you're pretty much like everybody else. As they say in Hindi, I'm sorry for the colloquial use of this phrase, is hamam mein sab nange hain. But let me ask Mr. Vasudev, as a legal point, clearly today's was not a bail hearing, or it was not a going into the merits of the matter, because it was not at the trial stage. But just on the challenge of arrest, the fact that the court said it is convinced that there is enough material procured by the ED that leads it to believe that Mr. Kejriwal was part of the conspiracy. How may this or may not this affect the trial itself? Because this is as good as the court saying that, look, we are convinced of the material that the ED has produced that Mr. Kejriwal was part of this conspiracy.
See, at the moment, good evening, they are basically collecting material to say that the gentlemen involved or the people involved are those who are in the breach of the law. That is PMLA or whatever you decide to put it. These are prima facie findings. These observations are made in each case before the trial starts, because these are investigated procedures followed before the commencement of a trial. He is now entitled to bail. That's the second part of it. You've recorded a prima facie case. Yes, there is material to arrest him. Once the arrest takes place, then it is for the accused or the person who has now been accused to show that he is entitled to bail. Then there's a third stage, which is the trial. During the course of the trial, you will have to prove your innocence because under the PMLA, now the onus is shifted. Unlike other laws where the law says that you're innocent till proved guilty, now the situation is you are guilty till proved innocent. So the onus has shifted in PMLA cases because of the implications and the seriousness of the offences. My view is, at the moment, a prima facie case has been found as to why the gentleman should not be arrested. Having had said so, it is now for the bail hearings to take place or the quashing proceedings, whatever one chooses to do.
But Mr. Vasudev, given the other accused in this case, and none of them have managed to get bail except of course Sanjay Singh, but Sisodia has been in jail for more than a year now. And given today's ruling, how easy or difficult would it be to get bail for Mr. Kejriwal? Because, like I said, if I go by today's ruling, it's like the court is convinced that he had the finger in the till.
That is the prima facie finding, isn't it? That's the finding on the basis of the material presented.
Yes.
Now, on the basis of this, the proceedings will continue under the PMLA or under the other applicable provisions of law. Therefore, to say that this is a finding of the court, yes, it is a prima facie finding which will lead to the commencement of a trial. It is not a finding of guilt, nor is it a finding that the person has done something wrong which cannot be defended. You see, you draw the distinction.
Okay, so it's not a finding of guilt. Neither is it a conviction. It's just a prima facie observation of the court.
First of all, the senior counsel would be happy to know that it is not just under what they say, quote unquote, the draconian PMLA law on which the onus of burden shifts on the accused, but even under IPC and POCA that Mr. Manish Sisodia has not been granted bail. Let's keep that fact clear. And sir, in that case, the accused doesn't have to prove anything. It is the agency that has to give sufficient material. Did you know about that, sir? Sir, I did not interrupt you. Senior counsel, I did not interrupt you. You can speak your turn in your turn. Let me make my points. Do you know about that when you said a blanket statement that all the matters are under PMLA? Secondly, senior counsel, did you know, now since madam has quoted the judgment of the judge yesterday and the judgment today, madam, you should know that your leader yesterday was saying very clearly that accusation lagne par istifa hona chahiye, and today he is saying that accusation lage jo bhi ho, court mein jaane ke baad bhi hum istifa nahi denge. So don't call into question the integrity of a judge who is not here to defend herself, or at least do it at your own risk. Thirdly, sir, can I please ask you that Lalu Prasad Yadav is 5 times convicted corrupt. Please ask the honorable spokesperson of Aam Aadmi Party. There is no doubt there. Will she be able to call Lalu corrupt? Fourthly, sir, you said that these are observations. Sir, you are much more senior at the bar than me. These are not observations. The judge read out a judgment, part of the judgment. The full judgment will be uploaded in some time. This is a judgment. It's not it's not an observation. So please be precise when you quote about the law. Don't mislead the viewers. I can understand you may have a certain political persuasion, but do not, sir, please don't interrupt me. I'm making my last point. I'm making my last point, sir. I'm making my last point. A good lawyer waits his turn. And sir, the Supreme Court gave a judgment on the ED and CBI. The Supreme Court gives a judgment on Chandigarh, you accept it. The same Supreme Court said to 14 parties that ED, CBI is not being used as per vendetta. How come you are selective in taking that judgment on board? And how many cases are there of ED? Okay. 5,900 cases. Of that, only 2% are against politicians.
No, we'll get to the ED track record in 1 second. But yeah, Mr. Vasudev, please
What I was saying was, this case also involves the PMLA. I said apart from the other laws. I made it very clear in the beginning.
Okay.
The other provisions are there. There is also the PMLA. Once the PMLA comes in, it gives a different view to the judge. And he is right. The judge is right in saying these become more serious. Ordinary crimes, crimes as defined under the IPC or Prevention of Corruption Act are one element. PMLA is a totally different element. Here you have got all three working together. You've got the IPC charges. The other cases, you've got the PMLA. PMLA is something which is going to be dealt with on a totally different platform compared to the other two. The cases were traveled together, but the implication of the PMLA becomes very difficult where the owner shifts. I think that is the understanding, Mr. Poonawala, which you may also have of the law.
Senior counsel, you would also know that today it was a hearing before a constitutional court, not a court that is a lower court. Are you telling me that if a constitutional court found that there is not even prima facie sufficient evidence, it would deny a person their liberty by going just by the strict nature of the law? And sir, senior counsel, I am again telling you, Manish Sisodia has been kept in jail not under PMLA but also under IPC and Prevention of Corruption Act that was ruled upon by a CBI court which has no mandate to rule upon PMLA cases. So sir, please be fully clear about the facts. And finally, Ms. Mathur, can you please tell me if Lalu Prasad Yadav is corrupt? He is convicted 5 times. You are standing with him today.
Can you please tell me how Mr.
Your
Modi
whataboutery is lousy.
Can you please tell me how Mr. Modi changed his mind overnight?
I will tell you, but after you tell me if somebody is convicted corrupt, is that the same as being आरोप प्रत्यारोप?
Look, Shehzad, I am not going to get into this. You know, आपका रात रोज रात का ये नौटंकी का game होता है. I'm really sorry. I don't want to waste the.
No, but you do need to answer the question if the people who were standing with Ms. Sunita Kejriwal on the dais at one point of time, every one of them you've accused of them as being corrupt. Then how are you any different, Abhinandata?
Let me say that more pressing than this case is Manipur, for example. Why are we not asking why the Chief Minister of Manipur, if we are going to talk on the issue of Naitikta and,
No, one second. Abhinandata, we've had enough debates on Manipur, especially on this channel, on this show. I've done umpteen debates on Manipur. I don't think you can compare Manipur to the case against the Delhi Chief Minister. The issue at hand today is on today's order.
I'm only observing that I think that we don't ask these questions of the BJP in more.
You are well within your right to ask how Ajit Pawar became lily white, a few weeks after, no less than the Prime Minister said. Please go ahead and make that point, but don't bring in Manipur. I don't think that has any material value today to the topic of discussion that we are having.
To answer your question, I think that it is, at some level, it is not about the Aam Aadmi Party, it's not about Arvind Kejriwal ji, it's not about Manish Sisodia ji. These are revolutionary people, it's all right, they will be in jail, that's not a problem for them. The
then
bigger
what is it
problem
about?
is what the BJP government is doing to the country and to the rule of law and to the agencies and to the polity of this country, to the people of this country. This is crazy.
To the extent that courts are also convinced about it.
Look at the
to the extent that the courts are also willing to buy what they're putting forth.
So when it comes to actually saving the country from BJP right now, other parties, we have all the rights to contest with them, to criticize them. But are you allowed?
Since Shehzad brought in the issue of the record of the IT, CBI, ED, etc., this is the facts as has been found out in multiple media reports. 115 cases that ED has either raided or has filed an FIR in, of which only 6 are from the BJP, remaining 100 plus are from the opposition. Since 2014, 25 opposition leaders have crossed over to the BJP. 23 of them, the probe has gone cold. I mean, these are questions of reliability, credibility of the agencies that the central government apparently is puppeteering.
The last point you made, you were quoting the Indian Express report on 23 or 25. One of the names they took was Himanta Biswa Sarma. Do you know, sir, and Himanta Biswa Sarma sued the Indian Express, that he was called as a witness in the CBI by the CBI in that case in 2014. He had communicated the same to Madam Sonia Gandhi. And in 2015, he joined our party. And apart from that, there was a PIL filed against him in the Guwahati High Court in 2018. After that also, he got a clean sheet.
Okay, so what about the other 22?
You give me one more name,
let's start with Ajit Pawar.
Ajit Pawar, his case was taken back under the MVA government, the irrigation case. Yes. Please see, Uddhav Thackeray has taken the case back.
1 week before Ajit Pawar joined the Mahayuti, the Prime Minister said he was 70,000 crore scam.
I am right here, sitting right here. Play that statement. The Prime Minister has said that it was the government which had the NCP that did a 70,000 crore scam, which we continue to say. Sharad Pawar's NCP.
And the irrigation minister at that time had nothing to do with it.
But no case has been stopped by us. Your point was that we have stopped cases.
My understanding is that Ajit Pawar my understanding is the Ajit Pawar case has gone into cold storage. That's what the Indian Express report said.
It does appear like that, yes.
One second. Who has put that case there? That's what I'm telling you. It's Uddhav Thackeray. And let me give you one more example from the same list you're reading. Pratap Sarnaik. Pratap Sarnaik, when he was in the MVA, when he was part of Uddhav Sena, at that time the TOPS case was closed by the EOW in Mumbai Police. In fact, when he joined us and we had the government under Eknath Shinde, the ED has gone to High Court and said the case will not shut. This is in December 2022. If I'm lying, you check.
So what is the status of that case now?
It is still on.
It is still on.
It is still on.
So
I'll give you one more example. I'll give you one more example to convince you. They keep saying about Praful Patel's case being closed.
Yeah.
Has the CBI come up with any official document that any case has been closed? Let me
No,
tell you.
the whole point of that story was this, that you don't have to come up with
Let's
official
be facts.
documents. No, one second.
No,
the
then
whole
what
point
basis
of
are
the
they saying
story,
case
no,
is
the whole
closed?
point of that story is, as you referred to Pratap Sarnaik, after December 2022, no movement has happened in that case.
Sir, in that
means the case has
no,
gone into cold storage.
Let me buzz that also. In
Okay.
the Praful Patel, and I'm giving the Praful Patel example. One second, madam. Why are you in?
One second, Abhinandan, one second. Let him finish. Yeah.
You know, in that Praful Patel, which was basically a source-based story, in that same story, if you read it, they say that there are 4 FIRs in the matter, of which 3 matters, which they say one is shut, but no official communication. The 3 FIRs are still on.
No.
Therefore, which case has been shut?
No, the
There's
point
no
is
case
not
that
that.
has been
No,
shut.
the point is not that, Shehzad. The point
Anyway.
is, there is
What is
a
the point?
perception against the
Perception.
BJP government,
Okay.
and there are these facts that are there which are leading to that perception
second.
that you are using agencies like IT, CBI, ED disproportionately against
me-
the opposition.
Now let
And
me
when
answer.
those very same opposition members join your party, those cases
Let
go
me-
into cold storage. Now,
Just
one
10
second.
seconds, just 10
Nistula
seconds.
covers your
Nistula,
party.
if I may take
One
just 10
second.
seconds.
One
Just 10
second. One second, Shehzad.
On this perception point, please give me 10 seconds. 10
If
seconds. I
the
request you, I want
BJP
you to talk.
reporter does not feel this perception, then fine. I'll take it back. I'll say I'm wrong in this perception.
No,
But
no, certainly there is a perception
Okay.
that has built up.
And why?
That is something, obviously because of the numbers that you have cited,
Okay.
the number of people who have joined the political party BJP and who have cases against them, which were prosecuted with great diligence when they were outside of the BJP, they were in other political
Shehzad
parties.
says nothing is shut.
It may not be shut, but you've given everybody a breather.
Okay.
Nobody's coming after you, nobody's raiding your place, nobody is pushing for deeper investigation to happen. Definitely there is a perception there.
Okay.
I can't deny it. But in the specific case of Mr. Kejriwal, what we need to remember is the people of Delhi.
Yeah, of course.
And the Chief Minister being behind bars and insisting on remaining the Chief Minister. I think that is actually the most important
that and
point.
plus I agree with your earlier point. Nobody else but Mr. Kejriwal himself made out this whole thing that he's on a higher pedestal than everybody else. Today he's not on that pedestal.
Yeah,
He
he's been
is
mainstream.
in the kitchen, as is everybody else.
May I just
Sorry.
just wait 20 seconds? Perceptions are made because irrespective of what the facts are, which I just quoted to you, people keep spitting out something which is not true. Let me give you the perception which is real based on facts. Before 2014, Lalu was convicted in 2013. GMM was convicted in 1990s. DMK was sent to jail. The members of DMK were sent to jail. SP had a disproportionate assets case. TMC had cases on them. There was no Modi then. There was no Amit Shah then. These are the same people who are being persecuted or prosecuted now for their corruption. And by whom? Who said this? It was said by this person.
मुलायम सिंह यादव ने चोरी कर रखी है, मायावती ने चोरी कर रखी है, सबने चोरी कर रखी है. और अगर ये पार्टियां जन लोकपाल बिल पास
Now, the person who used to ask for action on them, when action is actually being taken, the perception is we are targeting somebody, but it's not rooted in facts. I just told you about how Pratap Sarnaik's case was shut by Uddhav Thackeray's government, but we kept it on through the ED in the High Court.
Yeah, and I just told you
Give me the
nothing has
facts.
happened since December 2022. But be that as it
No,
may,
no, no. The
I'm going
case
to
is
wrap
on.
up. I'm going to wrap up. I'll give the final word. Abhinandan Mathur, 30 seconds. At least now will you concede? And I still don't get it. I mean, don't the people of Delhi deserve to have a chief minister?
that's actually the
One who's not functioning behind bars.
Well, the people of Delhi did elect a chief minister, and not once but thrice with a big mandate. And it is very unfortunate that the BJP
He was not behind bars then.
is using a draconian law to arrest Mr. Kejriwal. Please understand this. It is not about Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. It is not about the Aam Aadmi Party. Look at the larger picture. The BJP is absolutely ruining democracy. It does not want opposition
Okay.
to campaign in the upcoming elections. That is what is going on.
Freedom
And
to do
people of
corruption
Delhi-
versus
people of
freedom
Delhi
of
and
expression,
people
is
of
it?
Delhi
Okay.
And
Okay.
the people of Delhi,
We-
I would like
We'll-
to say
So
that
there's resignation.
We'll leave it at that. Like I said, especially so after today's order, I'm convinced that there's no reason why. Yes, he may be innocent. Like I said, the trial, we haven't got to the trial at all. Of course, his conviction has to be proven during a trial, at the end of that trial. We've not got to that stage. So nobody is passing judgment on his guilt or otherwise. But certainly after today's order, for him to continue to insist that he will run the Delhi government from inside the four walls of a jail, that I think is a grave injustice to the people of Delhi, the very people who voted for him. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to move to the south, where it's a massive push. The Prime Minister today, in his 8th visit to Tamil Nadu since this year began, he had a massive roadshow in South Chennai and in Central Chennai. But really, what are the realistic chances for the BJP? And that too, now that it's fighting on its own strength without what was its senior partner, the AIDMK. In many constituencies across the 39 seats, it's a three-way fight. Would that be advantage to the DMK alliance? We'll break that down. We also have an exclusive interview with the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, M.K. Stalin, who says that the BJP will not win a single seat in his state. We'll put that to test as well, right on the other side.
देश के विभिन्न हिस्सों में नववर्ष मनाया जा रहा है। आज विक्रम संवत 2081 का पहला दिन है। मैं समस्त देशवासियों को गुड़ी पड़वा, उगाड़ी, चेटीचंड, नवरे के साथ साथ साजीबू चेरोवा, नववर्ष की बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। आज से चैत्र नवरात्रि भी शुरू हो गई है। देश भर में शक्ति की उपासना, उसकी धूम मची हुई है। नवरात्रि का पर्व हो, हर कोई भक्ति में डूबा हुआ हो, शक्ति उपासना में जुड़ा हुआ हो, ऐसे समय इतनी बड़ी रैली, ये अपने आप में गजूबा है। क्योंकि मेरा जब कार्यक्रम बन रहा था तो मैंने कहा भाई नवरात्रि है, लोग कैसे आएंगे? उन्होंने कहा साहब बस आप डेट दे दीजिए। और इतने कम समय में नवरात्रि के पावन पर्व पर भी इतनी बड़ी तादाद में आप हमें आशीर्वाद देने आए। इस पावन अवसर पर बड़ी संख्या में शक्ति स्वरूपा माताएं, बहनें, बेटियां हमें आशीर्वाद दे रही है। मैं सभी सिख गुरुओं को भी नमन करता हूं। कुछ ही दिन में बैसाखी भी आने वाली है। मैं आपको बैसाखी की भी शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। मुझे यहां पीलीभीत के साथ ही बरेली की जनता जनार्दन के दर्शन का भी सौभाग्य मिला है। और सब दूर एक ही संदेश है, बहुत ही स्पष्ट संदेश है। एक ही गुंज सुनाई दे रही है, फिर एक बार, फिर एक बार, फिर एक बार, साथियों, हम बचपन से सुनते आए हैं, 1.25 लाख से एक लड़ाऊं, चिड़ियन तय में बाज तुड़ाऊं।
All right, so the Prime Minister was in Chennai today, big road show. He's going to be in Coimbatore tomorrow. The BJP is really throwing the kitchen sink as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. It's a tough state. The BJP last time did not have a single MP. They have 4 MLAs in the current assembly, and this is how Tamil Nadu voted last time around. Out of 39 seats, the India bloc, that's DMK, Congress and other smaller parties, got 38. The lone winning MP for the ADMK was Mr. O. Pannirselvam's son, Ravindranath, who won from Theni. But what are the seats that the BJP is hoping that they can target this time around? Let's start from north to south. Let's talk about South Chennai, one of the 2 constituencies where the Prime Minister did his roadshow tonight. Tamilisai Soundararajan is against Tamarachi Thangapandian of the DMK in that seat. Central Chennai, again a prestigious seat. Dayanadi Maran is a 3-time MP from there. His father used to hold that seat, Central Chennai. He's up against Vinod Selvam. The big fight for the BJP is Coimbatore, where now it's a 3-way fight. It's Annamalai, the state president, versus Ganapati of the DMK, who used to be a former mayor of Coimbatore, and there's also Singai Ramachandran of the ADMK, who's also a strong candidate there. So that is truly a triangular, tri-cornered fight. Then just in the neighboring constituency of Nilgiris, again a high-profile VVIP fight. A. Raja of the DMK, sitting 2-time MP from there, taking on L. Murugan of the BJP. And then you come to the south, there are a whole bunch of seats where the BJP is hoping some of its allies, for example, the Theni seat, which Ravindranath won, now TTV Dinagaran is contesting that on an AMMK ticket. Then you have the Ramanathapuram constituency, this whole controversy around Katchatheevu. So Ramanathapuram OPS, the former Chief Minister O. Pannirselvam, he's fighting as an independent who's backed by the BJP. And then a couple of other seats in the south, Kanyakumari, the southernmost seat, again they are hoping Pon Radhakrishnan, who used to be a former union minister, he's fighting there against Vijay Vasant of the Congress. His father Vasant Kumar, who incidentally happens to be the brother of Tamilisai Soundararajan, he used to be the sitting MP. Now Vijay Vasant of the Congress taking on Pon Radhakrishnan. They're also hoping in the seat of Thoothukudi, where Kanimozhi Karunanidhi is the sitting MP, the BJP is hoping that they can make inroads in that seat. So about a dozen odd seats which they are focusing on. Remember, other than Kanyakumari, none of these seats the BJP has won in elections in the past. Of course, they won Coimbatore in the 1999 election, but then it was a different ball game altogether back then. So these are the dozen-plus seats that the BJP is focusing on. On how many of them they'll be actually able to win, as opposed to just increasing vote share, we'll know on the 4th of June.
ஸோ ரொம்ப நன்றி சார் CNN கிட்ட பேசுகிறதுக்கு. முதல் கேள்வி, நீங்கள் பிரச்சாரம் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கீங்க தமிழ்நாடு முழுவதும், வரவேற்பு எப்படி இருக்குது மக்கள்கிட்ட?
பெரிய வரவேற்பு இருக்கு. 3 வருஷமாக இந்த ஆட்சியில் குறிப்பாக தமிழ்நாட்டை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் பல நன்மைகளையும் பல சாதனைகளையும் அவங்களுக்கு கிடைச்சிருக்கு. அதனால் இந்த ஆட்சி மேலே ரொம்ப நம்பிக்கை வச்சுருக்காங்க. அதனால் நான் களத்தில் இருக்கும்போது என்ன சொன்னாலும் 40க்கு 40ன்னு சொல்லணும். அதே நிலவரம் தான் இப்பவும் இருக்குது. நிச்சயமாக 40-40 வெற்றி பெறும். களம் சிறப்பாக இருக்குது.
சார், பிஜேபி வந்துட்டு 400 வின் பண்ணுவோம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருக்காங்க. பிரைம் மினிஸ்டர் சவுத்தை ஸ்பெசிஃபிக்காக ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க, தமிழ்நாடு தவிர மற்ற சவுத் ஸ்டேட்ஸையும் ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க. இன்றைக்கி பார்த்தீங்கன்னா 7வது முறையாக தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கு வராரு பிரதமர். இதனால் பிஜேபிக்கு சப்போர்ட் தமிழ்நாடு சவுத் இந்தியாவில் வர வாய்ப்பு இருக்கா?
400ன்னு ஆரம்பத்தில் சொன்னார். இப்போ போக போக இந்த வார்த்தையை வாயிலும் வரல. ஏன்னா அவருக்கே அச்சம் வந்துடுச்சு, பயம் வந்துடுச்சு. சவுத்தை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும், அதில் குறிப்பாக தமிழ்நாட்டை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் எப்படியாவது 1-2 சீட்டாவது வாங்கிடணும்னு முயற்சி பண்ணுறாரு. அது நடக்காது. நிச்சயமாக உறுதியாக இல்லை. இல்லை, தோல்வி பயம் அதிகம் வந்துடுறதுனால தான் அவங்க திருப்பி 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 தமிழ்நாடு பக்கம் வந்துட்டு இருக்கிறாங்க. எப்படியாவது இங்கே கால் பதிக்கணும்னு, அது நடக்க போகிறது இல்லை. தமிழ்நாட்டை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் நிச்சயமாக தமிழை வந்து வளர்கிறதுக்கு வாய்ப்பு கிடையாது.
பிஜேபி வந்துட்டு கச்சத்தீவை கையில் எடுத்து இந்த பிரச்சாரம் பண்ணிகிட்ருக்காங்க. கச்சத்தீவு இஷ்யூ பற்றி டிஎம்கே காங்கிரஸ்னால தான் கச்சத்தீவு ஸ்ரீலங்காவுக்கு போச்சு அப்படின்னு விமர்சனம் பண்ணிகிட்ருக்காங்க. இந்த விமர்சனம் செல்லுமா?
இலங்கையில் இருக்கக்கூடிய அமைச்சர்கள் வந்து இது குறித்து விளக்கமாக அறிக்கை கொடுத்துருக்கிறாரு. இது வரைக்கும் அவங்க வந்து 10 வருஷம் ஆச்சு ஆட்சிக்கு. மோடி தலைமையில் பிஜேபி ஆட்சி வந்து 10 வருஷம் ஆச்சு. அப்படி இருந்ததுன்னா அவங்களே அதுக்கு முயற்சியில் ஈடுபட்டு செஞ்சிருக்கணுமா நாம அதை செய்யாமல் வேண்டுமென்று திசை திருப்புவதற்காக, மக்களை திசை திருப்புவதற்காக திட்டமிட்டு செய்கிற பிரச்சாரம்.
சார், பிரதமர் வந்துட்டு தமிழ்நாடு வரும்போது டிஎம்கே மேலே வைக்கிற இன்னொரு குற்றச்சாட்டு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா டைனஸ்ட் பார்ட்டின்னு சொல்கிறாரு, அதே மாதிரி கரப்ட் பார்ட்டி அப்படின்னு டிஎம்கே சொல்கிறாரு. இதை நீங்கள் எப்படி பார்க்குறீங்க சார்?
அந்த சொல்கிறதுக்கு தகுதி வந்து நிச்சயமாக பிரதமர் மோடிக்கு தகுதி கிடையாது. ஏன்னா இப்போ அந்த பாண்டு பத்திரத்தில் மூலமாக கொள்ளடிச்சது, அதுக்கப்புறம் பிஎம் கேர்ஸ்னு போட்டு ஃபண்டு கலெக்ட் பண்ணது, இதுக்கெல்லாம் என்ன கணக்குனே இல்லை. அதெல்லாம் மூடி மறைக்கிறதுக்காக தான் இந்த திட்டமிட்டு செய்கிறாரு. இது தொடர்ந்து சொல்லிக்கிட்டு இருக்கிறாரு. இன்றைக்கி இருக்கிறது பார்த்திங்கன்னா வாஷிங் மிஷின் மாதிரி ஒன்று வச்சுக்கிட்டு அவங்க பிஜேபியில் வந்து சேர்ந்துட்டா யார் மேலே குற்றம் சொல்கிறாங்களோ அவங்கெல்லாம் வந்து கரைபடியாதவங்க, கரப்ஷன் இல்லாதவங்க நினச்சிக்கிட்டு ஒரு வாஷிங் மிஷின் மாதிரி இன்றைக்கி பிஜேபி இருக்குது. மேட் இன் பிஜேபி மாதிரி வாஷிங் மிஷின் வச்சுட்டு இருக்காரு. இதுதான் உண்மை.
சார், இப்போது இந்தியா அலையன்ஸில் வந்துட்டு டிஎம்கே ஒரு பெரிய ரோல் ப்ளே பண்ணுறீங்க. எல்லா அப்போசிஷன் பார்ட்டிஸும் சேர்ந்து 2024 போட்டி போடணும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்க. ஃப்யூச்சர் ஆஃப் இந்தியா அலையன்ஸ் எப்படி பார்க்குறீங்க? ஒரு பிரைம் மினிஸ்டர் ஃபேஸ் இந்த மாதிரி சேலஞ்சஸ்லாம் இருக்கும்போது இதோட ஃப்யூச்சர் நீங்கள் எப்படி பார்க்குறீங்க இந்த தேர்தலில்?
ஆமாம், ஜனநாயகத்தை வந்து காப்பாற்றணுங்கிறதுக்காக தான் இந்த கூட்டணி வந்து அமைச்சது. இது வந்து எப்படி அமைக்கிறது, மோடியை வந்து திருப்பி யாரும் அரசியல் பண்ண முடியாது அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு சூழல் இருந்துச்சு. ஒரே நாடு, ஒரே தேர்தல், ஒரே சாப்பாடு, எல்லாம் ஒரேன்னு ஒரேடியாக இந்தியாவை க்ளோஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்காக என்னென்ன பிளான்லாம் பண்ணாங்க. இது எங்கே போய் முடியுமோ, இது ஒரு வேளை தப்பி தவறி நடக்க போகிறதில்ல. ஒரு வேளை தப்பி தவறி பிஜேபி வந்து இதை ஜெயிச்சுட்டா அடுத்தது தேர்தலே இருக்காது, தேர்தல் ஒன்றே இருக்காது. அதுக்காக இன்றைக்கி மக்கள் விழிப்புணர்வு பார்த்து இன்றைக்கி எப்படியாவது பிஜேபியை தோற்கடிக்கணும்னு முயற்சியில் இறங்கியிருக்கிறாங்க. அது நல்லா போயிட்டுருக்கு. அதனால் வரக்கூடிய காலத்தில் ஜனநாயகம் வளரும், பிஜேபி வீழ்த்தி ஜனநாயக ஆட்சி வரும் நம்பிக்கை எங்களுக்கு ஏற்பட்டிருக்கு.
சார், நீங்கள் பிரச்சாரம் பண்ணும்போது எந்த கருத்துக்கு மக்கள்கிட்டேருந்து அதிகமாக வரவேற்பு வருது உங்களுக்கு?
ஆண்களை விட பெண்கள்கிட்ட அதிகமான வரவேற்பு இருக்கிறத நாங்கள் பார்க்குறோம். அதுக்கு காரணம் வந்து திமுக எப்போல்லாம் ஆட்சிக்கு வருதோ அப்போல்லாம் மகளிருக்கு தான் அதிகமான சலுகைகளை கொடுத்துட்ருக்கு. சொத்தில் சமூக உரிமை கொடுத்தது, பெண்களுக்கு சுயமரியாதை கொடுத்தது, மகளிர் சுய உதவிக்குழு ஏற்படுத்தினது, இதெல்லாம் கடந்த கால திமுக ஆட்சியில் தான். அதே வழியில் திராவிட மாடல் அரசுன்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கக்கூடிய என்னுடைய தலைமையில் இருக்கக்கூடிய திமுக ஆட்சி இன்றைக்கி வந்து தேர்தல் நேரத்தில் என்னென்ன வாக்குறுதி கொடுத்தோமோ பெண்களுக்கு அதையெல்லாம் நிறைவேற்றிட்டு இருக்கிறோம். குறிப்பாக கலைஞர் மகளிர் உரிமை தொகைன்னு மாதம் 1000 ரூபா தகுதி உள்ள அத்தனை பேருக்கு கொடுக்குறதுன்னு சொல்லி அதை கொடுத்துக்கிட்டு இருக்கிறோம். அது ரொம்ப பெரிய எழுச்சி ஏற்படுத்திருக்கோம். இலவசமாக வந்து பஸ்ஸில் வந்து பயணம் செய்யலாம். அதில் வந்து மாதம் அவங்களுக்கு வந்து 900 rupees வரைக்கும் நிச்சயமாக வருது. அதை வந்து அவங்க வீட்டுக்கு, குழந்தைங்களுக்கு, மருந்து மாத்திரைகளுக்கு, வீட்டு செலவுக்கு பயன்படுத்துகிறாங்க. இப்படி பல திட்டங்கள். அதே மாதிரி அரசு பள்ளியிலேருந்து படித்து முடிச்சுட்டு காலேஜுக்கு போகிறவங்க அவங்களுக்கு வந்து மாதம் 1000 ரூபா ஊக்கத்தொகை கொடுக்குறது, அது ஒரு திட்டத்துக்கு ஒன்றே அதையும் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருக்கிறோம். அது வந்து மகளிர் மட்டும் இல்லாமல் மாணவர்களுக்கும் இவ்வளோ அறிவிச்சிருக்கோம், அதையும் அறிவியலை சேர்க்கிறோம். அதனால் இந்த திட்டங்கள்லாம் மக்கள்கிட்ட வந்து நல்லா ரீச் ஆகிருக்கு. அதனால தான் இந்த மிகப்பெரிய வெற்றியை வந்து இந்த கூட்டணிக்கு தரப்போகிறாங்க நம்பிக்கை நாங்கள்.
சார், பிஜேபி எவ்வளோ சீட்ஸ் வின் பண்ணோன்னு உங்களோட கருத்து சார்?
பிஜேபி எவ்வளோ சீட் வின் பண்ணாங்கிறது மோடிக்கும் தெரியாது. நிச்சயமாக தமிழ்நாட்டை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் ஒரு சீட்டு விட வராதுன்றது தான் என்னுடைய திடமான நம்பிக்கை.
சார், இடி ரெய்ட்ஸ் அப்போசிஷன் ரூல் ஸ்டேட்ஸில் நிறைய நடக்குது சார். பிஜேபி இதை பண்ணுறாங்க அப்படின்னு எல்லா அப்போசிஷன் ஸ்டேட்ஸும் சொல்கிறாங்க. அரவிந்த் கெஜ்ரிவால் இது வந்து அவங்களுக்கு பேக் ஃபயர் ஆகுதுன்னு நினைக்கிறீங்களா? இந்த இடி ரெய்ட்ஸை நீங்கள் எப்படி பார்க்குறீங்க?
ஜனநாயக அடிப்படையில் கூட்டணி வச்சு இந்தியா கூட்டணி ஒன்று அமைச்சிருக்கிறோம். அவங்க என்ன கூட்டணி அமைச்சிருக்கிறாங்கன்னா இடி, ஐடி, சிபிஐ இப்படி கூட்டணி அமைச்சுக்கிட்டு அதை வச்சு எல்லாரையும் மிரட்டுறது. யார் யார் செல்வாக்கோடு இருக்காங்களோ, யார் யார் செல்வாக்கோடு பிரச்சாரம் பண்ணுறாங்களோ, யார் யார் அவங்க எதிர்த்து கேள்வி கேட்குறாங்களோ அவங்க மேலாம் இந்த இடியை, சிபிஐ, ஐடி இது போன்ற துறையை பயன்படுத்தி அவங்களை மிரட்டி அச்சுறுத்தி அவங்கள சிறையில் தள்ளுறது, பழிவாங்குறது, அச்சுறுத்தி மிரட்டி இது பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருக்கிறாங்க. அதில் தான் அப்பயே சொன்னேன், அவன் பயந்து போய் சில பேர் பயந்து போய் பிஜேபியில் சேர்ந்துருவாங்க, சேர்ந்துட்டா வாஷிங் மிஷின் போட்டு சுத்தப்படுத்திடலாம் அப்படிங்கிற இடத்துல தான் அவன் பண்ணிகிட்டு இருக்கான். தான் நடந்துகிட்டு இருக்கார் சார்.
தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச் சார்.
A small island between India and Sri Lanka, but a big election issue this time around. Politics over Katchatheevu is only snowballing in the run-up to the 2024 Lok Sabha polls. As Tamil Nadu is all set to go to polls on the 19th of April, the BJP, just ahead of the elections, had revealed an RTI document which in fact made revelations that former Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru and the Indian government under Indira Gandhi had acted to give away Katchatheevu to Sri Lanka. This in fact has impacted the India alliance, especially with both the Congress and the DMK determined not to allow the BJP to take control of this narrative. But how much of this will have an impact in the Lok Sabha polls? That's $1 million question.
In 1976, Katchatheevu was declared a no-go zone for Indian fishermen after another agreement was signed between Indira Gandhi and her Sri Lankan counterpart, Sirimavo Bandaranaike. The agreement made it clear that Indian fishermen could not fish near Katchatheevu. The fishermen from Tamil Nadu say if they cross the invisible maritime border, they often face arrests, confiscation of boats and even bullets from the Sri Lankan Navy. One of them is 62-year-old Sekhar Pandyan. He says he was shot at, beaten and eventually lost a leg when he was attacked by the Sri Lankan Navy.
I have always been a fisherman. I started fishing when I was a child. In 2008, Sri Lankan Navy shot me even when I did not go anywhere near the border. That was also the first time I took my son along with me. I showed him the border and he asked if we entered the Sri Lankan border. I remember telling him that the border is 3 to 4 nautical miles away. As I finished saying this, I was shot at. My son got scared hearing the sound. He was 15 years old. I lost my leg because of the Sri Lankan Navy.
Sekhar Pandyan says he has lost everything because of India ceding Katchatheevu to Sri Lanka. But moving forward, he wants the Tamil Nadu government and centre to work together to help the fisherfolk of Rameshwaram.
Our children and grandchildren are asking us how we lost our property. Political parties gave away Katchatheevu. Now we have nothing. Won't we get angry? My family is asking me what will any government do even if we vote for them. There should be a middle ground reached between the two countries. PM Modi is a capable leader. He is taking India to greater heights. But as far as fishermen issue is concerned, the local leaders here are not giving the accurate picture of our plight. Both the state government and the central government should work together to settle this.
Katchatheevu border is just about 16 nautical miles from where we are. This is Rameshwaram. And more than politics, Katchatheevu is also a source of livelihood for thousands of fishermen here at Rameshwaram. Most of them have already ventured out into the sea. They will come back by 5 a.m. tomorrow. Today is a Saturday. They've already left and it takes about 2 hours for them to reach Katchatheevu border, and then they will fish and then come back. This has been a source of livelihood, which is why every time the state goes to polls, Katchatheevu and retrieval of Katchatheevu becomes an electoral and an emotive issue.
Fishermen always hope that the ruling party will do something for us. The party that has been in power for 10 years now blames DMK and Congress for giving away Katchatheevu. The fact that it took 10 years for them, this is disheartening. We have submitted a memorandum to the BJP. We are only asking them for a solution and not asking them as to who is responsible. Even our kids know who was responsible. What is the solution is what we expect from the BJP.
But many fishermen in Rameshwaram say that Katchatheevu issue has been raked up only for political gains in the upcoming Lok Sabha elections.
It is true that every party gets reminded of our plight before elections and after the elections. Nothing much is done. But when Jayalalitha was in power, she moved the Madras High Court and said Katchatheevu belongs to India. But the BJP government didn't do much then. They could have also made an appeal along with the ADMK if they wanted to help us and retrieve Katchatheevu. But the BJP said they can't do much to retrieve. Now they are again talking about this. Why didn't they appeal then?
Fishermen say instead of lessons on what happened in the past, they want a permanent solution to the issue.
When Congress was in power, they tried to ensure the release of not just fishermen but also the boats that were seized by Sri Lankan Navy. When BJP came to power, they also tried to ensure the release of those arrested, but our boats are still not yet released. Our livelihood depends on the boats. One boat costs us 25 lakhs to 1 crore. At least 15 people's livelihood depends on the boat, and our livelihood is at stake. So when parties talk about Katchatheevu before elections, pains us because we don't want mere statements. We want a solution.
देश के विभिन्न हिस्सों में नववर्ष मनाया जा रहा है। आज विक्रम संवत 2081 का पहला दिन है। मैं समस्त देशवासियों को गुड़ी पड़वा, उगाड़ी, चेटीचंड, नवरे के साथ साथ साजीबू चेरोबा नववर्ष की बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। आज से चैत्र नवरात्रि भी शुरू हो गई है। देश भर में शक्ति की उपासना, उसकी धूम मची हुई है। नवरात्रि का पर्व हो, हर कोई भक्ति में डूबा हुआ हो, शक्ति उपासना में जुड़ा हुआ हो, ऐसे समय इतनी बड़ी रैली, ये अपने आप में गजूबा है। क्योंकि मेरा जब कार्यक्रम बन रहा था तो मैंने कहा भाई नवरात्रि है, लोग कैसे आएंगे? उन्होंने कहा साहब बस आप डेट दे दीजिए। और इतने कम समय में नवरात्रि के पावन पर्व पर भी इतनी बड़ी तादाद में आप हमें आशीर्वाद देने आए। इस पावन अवसर पर बड़ी संख्या में शक्ति स्वरूपा माताएं, बहनें, बेटियां हमें आशीर्वाद दे रही है। मैं सभी सिख गुरुओं को भी नमन करता हूं। कुछ ही दिन में बैसाखी भी आने वाली है। मैं आपको बैसाखी की भी शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। मुझे यहां पीलीभीत के साथ ही बरेली की जनता जनार्दन के दर्शन का भी सौभाग्य मिला है। और सब दूर एक ही संदेश है, बहुत ही स्पष्ट संदेश है। एक ही गुंज सुनाई दे रही है, फिर एक बार, फिर एक बार, फिर एक बार साथियों, हम बचपन से सुनते आए हैं, 1.25 लाख से एक लड़ाऊं, चिड़ियन तय में बाज तुड़ाऊं, तबै गुरु गोविंद सिंह नाम कहाऊं। ये बोल भारत की वीर परंपरा के प्रतीक है।
पूरी कर्नाटक की जनता मोदी जी को तीसरी बार प्रधानमंत्री देखना चाहती है।
தோல்வி போய் அதிகம் இருந்ததுனால தான் அவங்க திருப்பி தமிழ்நாடு பக்கம் வந்துட்டு இருப்பாரு.
The BJP was so confident of getting 300 or 400 seats. Why would they want to break the opposition, take Congress leader?
India has not been able to do a rally. वोट अपील नहीं कर पा रहे, कैंडिडेट नहीं तय आप कर पा रहे.
लोग पूरी तरह से आश्वस्त हैं कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी को 370 सीटों पर विजय मिलेगी.
He was asked क्या अमेठी से आप चुनाव लड़ेंगे? Is the party want him to contest? The answer is yes.
The people of Tamil Nadu want to strengthen Modi ji's hand when Modi ji is going to come back with 400 plus.
We are doing very well, and it could be a 40-40, that is 39 plus quantity.
Presented by
देश के विभिन्न हिस्सों में नववर्ष मनाया जा रहा है। आज विक्रम संवत 2081 का पहला दिन है। मैं समस्त देशवासियों को गुड़ी पड़वा, उगाड़ी, चेटीचंड, नवरे के साथ साथ साजीबू चेरोवा, नववर्ष की बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। आज से चैत्र नवरात्र
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. We begin with Pakistan and their Kashmir obsession. Their Prime Minister went to Saudi Arabia to offer prayers during Ramadan and to ask for more loans because his country is broke. But then he raised Kashmir and got a snub from the Saudis. We'll tell you all about it. In the US, a big win in the chip race. The Taiwanese chip giant TSMC will make chips in America because they're getting billions in incentives. We'll look at how much money governments across the world are pouring into what has clearly become a strategic asset. In Europe, a landmark climate lawsuit where the court pulls up a government for not doing enough. Yesterday, we told you about the Indian Supreme Court's ruling. So, can you take your government to court for not protecting you against climate change? What does the law say? We'll tell you about it. A win for India and Myanmar. This is about the Sitwe port. Household debt is rising in the country. What does that mean? Why are world leaders flocking to TikTok despite security concerns? What is Zimbabwe's new currency? Why did they need one in the first place? Is big tech stealing your data to train AI? What does it mean for copyright laws? Why Sierra Leone has declared an emergency because drug addicts are digging up human skeletons? And what is your biological age? Can you reverse it? All this and more coming up. The headlines first. The US seized Iranian weapons to Ukraine. The arms were seized while being transferred from Iranian forces to Yemen's Houthi rebels. The US military says the weapons were sent to Ukraine last week. Kiev is facing a major shortage of arms and ammunition as Moscow intensifies its offensive. Turkey imposes trade restrictions on Israel over the Gaza war. The curbs will cover products like cement, steel and iron. The decision comes after Ankara claimed that Israel had blocked its attempt to airdrop aid to Gaza. Israel vows a response, accusing Turkey of violating trade agreements. In India, a setback for the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. The Delhi High Court has rejected